Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Date. Here are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Organized labor directs all public sector workers to stay at home indefinitely from Thursday the 10th of October. Tonight we will find out if government will yield to declare state of emergency in Galamsey areas.
NPP says NDC has no legitimate grounds to return with complaints of anomalies following the Electoral Commission's latest presentation, but the NDC rejects the Electoral Commission's explanation.
And later in the bulletin, presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, engages the clergy, charging them to show interest in socio-political activities.
Coming up in business news, Atlantic Lithium raises concerns over Parliament's slow pace in ratifying its mining agreement, preventing the company from starting operations.
On the international front, Iran launches missile attacks on Israel. Details of that and more coming up.
We have details of these stories coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
Let's delve right into it. And organized labor has declared a nationwide strike effective Thursday, the 10th of October. The strike is to demand that government bans Galamsey and illegal small-scale mining across the country. Spokesperson of organized labor, Joshua Ansah, asked all workers to join the strike.
On September 11, 2024, organized labor asked the government to ban small-scale mining and Galamsey. According to the unions, these activities have decimated the forest lands and polluted water bodies. President Akufo-Addo set up a ministerial committee to intervene in the matter of organized labor, but failed to convince labor to rescind its decision. After a closed-door meeting, organized labor has declared a nationwide strike. Joshua Ansah, the spokesperson of organized labor.
Following the expiration of our deadline and the failure of government to meet our demands on illegal mining, that is Galamsey, organized labor has decided to declare a nationwide strike with effect from October 10th, 2024. We are therefore calling on all workers to stay at home starting Thursday, October 10, 2024, until government accedes to our demands.
Other union leaders, including the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, Morgan Ayaweni, said the impact of the strike will be there.
Government, we are proceeding to declare a nationwide indefinite strike action. And that is going to cover all our operational area, namely formal and private sectors of the economy.
He called on government to act swiftly.
To the effort of government, we can surely, nip this in the bud so that we can have our lands, our water bodies, so that we don't risk even importing water from abroad.
Right, so let's interrogate this subject a while further. Joining us on phone now is Professor Bafo Ajimendua, who is a governance consultant and analyst. Prof, a very good evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
To start with, I'm sure you've been following this back and forth between organized labor and the ultimatum they gave government, which expired yesterday. What do you make of the current threat by organized labor that they will go on strike effective October 10 over Galamsey concerns?
Well, first of all, it is important to recognize that the concern for Galamsey goes beyond organized labor. It's a national concern cutting across parties, and all different groups in the country. Everybody in the country for the past couple of weeks have been expressing this concern. And it is very intriguing that the president and his government seem to be very silent on this matter, a matter that is creating serious discomfort among the populace. So I really don't understand why the president is being impervious to these kinds of citizens' concern. Now, with the organized labor, sure, we know they issued that threat some time ago, and they gave a deadline. And I am hoping that the president will break his silence and respond. I think the response that we have gotten so far from government is not satisfactory. It does not address the concern, the urgency of the matter. And it is very surprising that the president is showing no concern about this. I think if before their deadline of the 10th of October, they are not getting the response that they want, I will not be surprised if they proceed with a threat to go on strike. And such a strike will certainly paralyze the country. And I don't think any president would like to see his country paralyzed by a strike by organized labor, because that would be very widespread. It might put brakes on an economy that's already struggling to stand. And I don't know what the president intends to do, but certainly it must be taken seriously.
Right. And that brings me to my next question, which will be, I mean, this decision was as a result of what they deemed to be government's failure to declare a state of emergency in dealing with the Galamsey. What should the president or government in itself's posturing be? How should they, act so at least we avert a nationwide strike and actually deal with this canker?
Well, first of all, it is not the declaration of state of emergency that is in itself important. It is important for government to know that people know its policy, its plan to arrest the situation. In fact, it's been suggested by a senior military person that declaring the state of emergency has certain implications that may not other well for an election period, because it might mean forcing people to go to bed at certain times. It might affect the electoral schedule. What is important to do is for government then to declare certain areas security zones. And that declaration may not need parliamentary approval as a state of emergency declaration will need. And that will enable the military to go in with full force to cordon off those areas. I think that would be an important step. And then, of course, the government should also immediately suspend federal licenses and those that have been given in the past few years. I think this would be practical measures that can impress people that the government is serious about the issue. I know that ministers and government, the president himself, they travel across the country. If they don't, at least they see on social media what is happening to our water bodies, what is happening to our forest reserves. Something that they themselves created by enacting a law to open up forest reserves for mining and the destruction of the forest. So these are, I think, immediate measures the president can take to begin to impress on population that it is taking this matter seriously. So far, we do not see that seriousness at all.
Right. And Prof, finally and briefly, unfortunately, we've had some key political figures say something about the Galamsey, and we've heard them say that, for instance, they cannot ban it because of the effect it will have on their electoral fortunes. When political actors are talking about such a sensitive national issue, how does this affect the national fight to stop or bring an end to it?
Well, I think the whole problem revolves around leadership. I think there's serious lack of national leadership on this particular problem. And if the president himself is not showing leadership, it opens the doors for his people to make all kinds of statements that are certainly not to be respectful, certainly not that don't make sense in the midst of such a situation. So I think the president has been firm to really give some sense of direction that sense of direction could influence how his own ministers and appointees will make statements relating to the issue. So I think the problem at the moment is the complete lack of leadership on this matter. And that's what is creating the discomfort and enabling some people to make all these needless statements.
Right. Professor Bafo Agyemang, a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time this evening. He is a governance consultant and analyst.
And this is your election command center. The register is clean, robust and ready for election 2024. That's according to the Electoral Commission as it addressed concerns of the NDC at an inter-party advisory committee meeting. Responding to the NDC's allegations, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission affirmed that the current provisional register has been significantly updated and is more accurate than the previous version.
For the first time, the Inter-Party Advisory Committee meeting, IPAC, welcomed the media to its proceedings, a bold step by the Electoral Commission to promote transparency and accountability in its engagements with political parties ahead of the December general elections. Amidst the swirling controversy surrounding the credibility of the 2024 voters register, raised prominently by the NDC, this meeting focused on addressing the concerns of the largest opposition party. The EC has maintained that it has rectified all discrepancies in the provisional register, asserting that no external intervention is necessary.
Over the last few weeks, the Commission has employed tried and tested legal and administrative processes to clean the provisional register and rid it of discrepancies as envisaged by the framers of the 1992 Constitution. We can confidently state that most of the discrepancies discovered to date have been resolved. Assertions that the discrepancies in the provisional voters register are aimed or were aimed at disenfranchising voters in certain parts of the country are untrue. We have cleaned up the provisional voters register and corrected all discrepancies identified to date.
The Commission, through its IT consultant, Dr. Yaofori Ajay, reiterated the NDC's failure to provide substantive data or evidence of the alleged discrepancies. Nonetheless, it assured that the 2024 elections would proceed as planned, with the finalized register soon to be made available to all political parties.
We have demonstrated to you that the Electoral Commission of Ghana has in place a tried and tested process to produce a credible register that ensures a free, fair, and transparent election. Trust us to be able to deliver on a register that you will all be proud of, a register that does not disenfranchise anybody. The anomalies that have been identified have today been largely fixed. The register that we have all strived hard to correct, currently as it stands now, is as cleanest as it will ever get. And it is robust, and it is ready for the 2020 election.
Despite these assurances, the NDC remained unconvinced, insisting that their concerns were not fully addressed.
What we see here is mopping and mopping and mopping. Fixing the leakage is missing. And this is at the heart of our altruistic demand for a forensic audit. This forensic audit is not just about the register. We need to adopt a dichotomous approach. Look at the register, fix the issues in there, and also audit the very IT systems that allowed these anomalies to occur.
For the NPP, the current situation feels like a deja vu, urging the NDC to place their trust in the Electoral Commission, just as the NPP did in the lead-up to the 2016 elections.
We were assembled here for the same purpose of getting a credible register for the 2016 elections. 9 years ago, our colleagues on the other side
said no, the register is fit for purpose, allow the Electoral Commission to do its work. Why are you interfering in the affairs of the Electoral Commission? I think that we are repeating ourselves the same way. The issues have been fixed. The IT director has said, and we followed it, and I'm telling you that we commend you the same way the committee then commended us. But you are trying to play the catch-up. So we will leave you to your fate.
Meanwhile, several other political parties expressed satisfaction with the Commission's effort to explain and resolve the challenges, praising the EC for taking time to engage and clarify.
So this is actually the first time that the Electoral Commission has met with the parties and televised their interactions. So let's bring you some of the key highlights of what the EC chair, Madam Jean Mensah, said in her address to the meeting earlier today. So she, amongst other things, said that the discrepancies detected to date have been largely corrected, and the register presented to the parties as of early August is very different from what they have today. She says assertions that the discrepancies in the provisional voter register are aimed at disenfranchising voters in certain parts of the country are untrue. She says the provisional register is not final. It is a draft subject to inspection, revision and correction as mandated by CI 91 and CI 126. Our staff, and there's a direct quote, our staff are well trained and have the capacity, competencies and skills to undertake the task of producing a final and credible voters register for the 2024 elections. And in the concluding part of her remarks, she says it is the position of the Commission that the call for a forensic audit of the provisional register is premature. Right, so those are the thoughts of Madam Jean Mensah, who is the chair of the Electoral Commission.
Well, still at the IPAC meeting, the NPP says the NDC has no legitimate grounds to return with complaints of anomalies following the Electoral Commission's latest presentation. Speaking at the meeting, General Secretary of the NPP dismissed the NDC's long-standing grievances, asserting that their claims against the voters' register have now been thoroughly debunked.
The National Democratic Congress has persistently claimed that the 2024 Provisional Voters Register is riddled with errors, sparking a massive nationwide protest and petitioning the Electoral Commission to address their concerns. In response, the Electoral Commission dismissed the NDC's accusations, branding their claims of a compromised voters register as baseless. The General Secretary of the NPP was quick to weigh in, insisting that the NDC never had a substantial case to begin with, accusing them of trying to undermine the credibility of the EC without providing any concrete evidence.
For the issue that they are talking about, it's something that is very common during provisional register exercise. So all the issues that they raise is something that happens during voter exhibition. It's something that gives us opportunity to look at it. Now, it just don't draw conclusion and start attacking an institution, and when you are asked to bring your data, you say, no, I won't bring the data.
He further added that the NDC once again failed to convince the political parties at IPAC, as well as the EC, of the allegations regarding a flawed voters register.
They gave no room for the NDC to come back and make noise. If they will make noise, there will be more of pure propaganda. The Electoral Commission has done its presentation. It has responded to several issues that you came to complain about. If you are still standing by it, present to us the allegations that you are making. The 200,000 names you are talking about, the 15,000 names that you are talking about, all the presentations that were made by their reps. At what point in time did they even give us evidence? Did they give us the data that they churn out? None. They started talking about propaganda matters, about a roof that is leaking and using mop to clean it. Is that why we came here? We came here based on the several allegations that you have made. Why are you running away?
However, the Director of Elections of the NPP expressed a different view, casting doubt on the EC's ability to run a free, fair and transparent election, citing systemic weaknesses within the Commission.
More people. The Electoral Commission is leaking. The IT system is leaking. You heard the question that we asked. Can people have access to the login credentials? They said yes. You heard them. So people can have access to the login credentials. How can we trust such an electoral commission? They want us to just accept the voters register that they will be submitting to us. But that is only one leg. The other leg is what caused it.
With the Electoral Commission now declaring the voters register clean and ready for the 2024 polls, all eyes turn to how the political landscape will evolve as the nation moves closer to Election Day. Noble Crosby and TV3 News, Accra.
Right, so now let's walk you through some of the figures the EC gave all the political parties, and have this at the back of your mind that this is a provisional voters register, as the EC has said. It's part of the reasons why the EC says, for instance, that the concerns raised by the NDC about the register are just provisional. This is just a provisional register, so those concerns are being addressed. And many of the parties, after commending the NDC, said that it was good they brought these concerns to the attention of the EC. However, it's been worked on. Let's look at the current numbers we have in Ghana's voters register. It's provisional. So the valid voters captured in the voters register currently stands at 18,772,795. If you break that down to male, female, we have 9,690,173 women, and then 9,082,622 males or men. First-time voters stand at 708,282. Special voters will be in the category of 131,475. Transferred votes or voters is 332,110, and then proxy voters we have 2,167. So these are the provisional figures captured in the voters register as we await a final one that will be going into the December polls with.
In more news tonight, presidential candidate of the NDC, John Mahama, has charged religious leaders to show interest in socio-political activities in the country. At a meeting to engage the clergy, he charged them to speak up about the events leading to the elections and after.
The meeting is part of events to engage various stakeholder groupings and also market the policies of the NDC and their manifesto. John Mahama admonished the clergy not to take the back burner on issues of national interest, especially the upcoming elections.
I'll urge you not to sit passively and watch. I think that our clergy should get involved in the processes of the election. Nothing stops you from sending representatives as observers to the collation centers, to the polling stations to see how the count is going on. Nothing stops you from tallying the results yourself, putting in a tally system so that you can also tally the results, so that when there's controversy between us about what the results are, you will also be able to say, well, from the tally we got, we think that this is what's the exact result.
He indicated that a future NDC government will institute a national day of thanksgiving and prioritize religious freedom.
This initiative for a national day of prayer and thanksgiving stems from my belief in the power of prayer and reverence for God as essential elements for the success of any nation. And I reaffirm this pledge to you today. The day of prayer and thanksgiving will serve as a day of intercession, promoting national unity and cohesion, which are vital for our country's development and growth. We will prioritize religious freedoms, recognizing that churches are not only places of worship, but also centers for social upliftment, compassion, and moral leadership.
The clergy responded to the call of the former vice president.
We are in 4 regions. We have deployed people who are going there to be election monitors. Some of them will be observers. So yes, His Excellency's call must be heeded too. More councils should also do the same as GPCC is doing.
Elections are a time where people come to speak their mind and decide on leadership. An election time in any nation is not supposed to be anything that is bringing chaos. And there can never be peace anywhere without justice. And justice cannot be served without truth.
The event did not end without a prophecy from controversial prophet Osubempa.
opinion na koma papenti unyame asa do omre ashense
The clergy prayed for the country and its leadership.
Right, so still on politics, the NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama will win the 2024 elections by a one-touch victory. That's according to the latest poll by Global Info Analytics, with some 2 months to the December general elections. There's more in this News Desk report.
The campaigns have intensified as a 13 candidate expected to be on the ballot paper actively seek votes with barely 2 months to the crucial December elections. John Mahama has been tipped in yet another poll to win the elections, this time expected to garner 51.1%, handing him a one-touch victory. According to Global Info Analytics, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia will fail to hit the 40% mark, securing 37.3% of the votes. Alan Kojo Tremantin, an independent candidate with the Movement for Change, is expected to garner 4.1%, while the leader of the new force, Anakwame Bediako, also an independent candidate, expected to garner 6.2% of the votes. The remaining candidates are all expected to receive 1.3% share of the votes. Musa Dankwa says the polls have been consistent.
They are heading into an election with a tide against them on the economy, on the cost of living, on employment. That itself is a drag. Then you have a leading member of the party in Alan Martin joining the fray as independent candidate. And he seems to be doing well in the Ashanti region and Eastern region. And then suddenly you have a third candidate, who a second candidate coming from also their stock. Now, I don't think they envisaged Nana Kwambedia pulling away votes from MPP. But that is exactly what the guy is doing in Ashanti region and Eastern region. And this is the biggest problem for MPP, because if Alan and Bediako together can do 10% anywhere else, then their chances are over.
Let's now go to the labor front, where pre-tertiary teacher unions hit the streets Tuesday morning demanding better conditions of service. The teachers accused the Ghana Education Service of disparities in salaries. A report by Joseph Armstrong.
The unions, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana, clad in red, demonstrated on the streets of Accra from a brass sport to the Ministry of Education with aggression amid singing and dancing. The aggrieved protesters displayed placards with inscriptions, "Treat teachers with dignity. Teachers are losing trust in government. Teachers also deserve allowances. Cost of electricity is killing us, and treat teachers with decency," among others. Some of them spoke with the news team.
We have some people, they call themselves Article 71 people. Now, this group of people retired on their salaries. They do their terms and they are paid ex gratia. We as teachers, we are allowed to contribute into our pension. Our basic salary, 5% of them, or of it, is taken to invest into our pension. My brother, for 13 good months now, government has not released that money to our fund administrators.
We have teachers with diplomas at A and what have you. They pursue further education and upgraded themselves to have the degree certificates. Today, said teachers are not being upgraded to the right rank. Meanwhile, you are upgrading teachers with degree certificates, and immediately after their employment, they are placed on level 16. Once we have teachers who have served the country for 10, 15 years, have acquired the requisite qualification certificate, and we are denying them that upgrading.
We are humbly appealing to the minister to take it up to the appropriate officers that we are ready to cooperate with them.
Some of the teachers from rural communities also bemoaned the challenges they are faced with.
I'm at a coastal area. We don't have bungalows over there. So if you are provided with rentals, I think it will be better.
You are going far
You have to get down and walk for about 5 kilometers. You go there and then you are not being motivated.
Receiving their petition, the Ministry of Education assured the teachers their concerns will be addressed. Joseph Armstrong, Gold, TV3, Accra.
And for those who've been watching TV3, you'll recall that yesterday we brought you a renewed, rebranded agenda, which is a talk program that puts major national issues in perspective. On that program yesterday, security analyst with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Professor Kwesi Ening, seems to have lost hope in government's fight against illegal mining. He noted in an interview on Agenda that as things stand, he expects nothing from authorities regarding ending the Galamsey menace.
Don't expect it, but personally, what do you expect from them, really?
Who?
From the actors, those who are supposed to ensure that things are done properly.
I don't expect anything.
You don't expect anything?
Look, let's be real. Benedicta has given us a very optimistic and I think the proper thing. As a nation, we need to hope. But we've passed that. We need a set of measures that makes it unprofitable to flout the rules. You know, normally when people talk about weak states, fragile states, they are deliberate methodologies by elites or elite settlements to ensure that the state does not work. So were we to ban, that look as the people of Ghana will ban. Because when Benedicta says it's become an existential threat, what it means in political science terms is that we need extraordinary measures beyond the normal realm of politics to be able to deal with that problem. But those who should be moving the conversations and the policy beyond the normal realm of politics themselves are.
In more news tonight, starting tomorrow, Wednesday, October 2, some 5 million children will be vaccinated against measles, rubella, and given vitamin A supplements across the country. The campaign is to complement efforts to strengthen routine immunization for sustainable delivery of services following the increasing number of measles cases being reported across the country.
The last time Ghana held a mass vaccination campaign against the measles rubella disease was in 2018, leaving behind a chunk number of the children who have become vulnerable to the disease. For years, cases of measles have been on the decrease, but for the last 3 years, there have been an increase in cases in all parts of the country. The campaign, scheduled to start on Wednesday, October 2, will also include the administration of vitamin A supplement. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaji, at the official launch of the national campaign, entreated the general public to get involved to ensure the children are protected.
We have the supply, also have the demand. The demand is that the community, the people, mothers, fathers, should also make the children available for vaccination. There is nowhere in the country where you cannot say that vaccines are not available. And so what we need most is for people to make their children available for vaccination.
This is News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have many more stories for you after the break.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste. That's both charcoal and lemon. Oh, does yes. Look right here. Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has two of nature's powers. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally. Convinced?
Well, I am. Just look at your beautiful Pepsodent smiles.
For naturally whiter teeth, Pepsodent Charcoal.
How can we solve the unemployment crisis in Ghana? Yes, Massa.
By using the formula 133.
Can you expatiate?
Say, this simply means 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. That is the Mahama 24-hour economy policy. Under this policy, businesses will be given tax incentives, cheaper electricity, financial support, and security support services to encourage them to work 24/7 by adopting 3 work shifts of 8 hours each. This will triple job opportunities in the country. This policy will boost production, increase productivity, and generate well-paying jobs in all participating businesses and public organizations.
Excellent. The 24-hour policy will be a game changer.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Sanlam and Allianz is now Sanlam Allianz, Africa's largest insurer.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Pepper powder. This advert is FDA approved.
Live in a community where your neighbors become family. And where family is love that awaits you on a daily basis. And where friendships bind us together in communal spirit. This is Eden Heights, a well-planned paradise with ready-to-move-in apartments and penthouses located behind the West Hills Mall, where living is a lifestyle. So, whatever your style, Eden Heights is the perfect place to live. For purchase or rental, call +233 50 153 1444 or +233 50 153 1445. Eden Heights, the height of modern living.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, lithium mining company Atlantic Lithium has raised concerns over delays in rectifying its mining agreement with the Ghanaian government, which is preventing the company from starting operations. The agreement for mining lithium at Ewoya was signed in October 2023, but Parliament has yet to rectify the deal as critical issues have been raised with the deal. Speaking at the West Africa Mining Security Conference, Finance Director of Atlantic Lithium, Amanda Harris, said the delay is significantly hindering the company's ability to begin operations swiftly.
Addressing the media at the just ended 2024 Ghana Oil and Gas Conference, Head of Energy and Infrastructure for West Africa at Stanbic Bank, Olukayode Aduloju, acknowledged the immense potential of Africa's oil and gas sector for economic growth. However, access and finance remains a significant hurdle for the sector.
In terms of challenges that they're facing right now, one is typically the maturity that the banks ask for in terms of the company. So things like, audited accounts, and also some of the security that typically the banks ask for. So typically, unfortunately, when a local entity goes to a bank, some banks will ask for hard security such as properties and other assets, which unfortunately some of these companies can't actually provide.
He stressed the importance of collaborative efforts between financial institutions, government and industry players to overcome these challenges.
Our role is really to facilitate projects, facilitate the supply chain, and just to facilitate the entire industry as a whole. Play a role in terms of facilitating, all the way from the downstream, which is working capital, to all the way to the upstream, which is your hard capex financing in terms of long-term financing.
The 2024 Ghana Oil and Gas Conference was under the theme, Stimulating the Growth of Ghana's Oil and Gas Industry.
So that story was rather about an energy expert in finance, Olukayode Aduloji, who has highlighted critical obstacles hindering Africa's oil and gas sector. According to him, most companies in the oil and gas sector lack the collateral facilities banks require for loans, which hinder their access to finance and consequently growth and development. Let's go back now to our earlier story on Atlantic Lithium.
Accelerating and getting into production as quick as we can, with the uncertainty that then makes us as a company be more careful about our money, be more careful about what we're doing. We're still working towards our permitting steps because that's really important, but our exploration and our other activities are effectively slower, and if you can understand, getting set up and getting going is harder if you've kind of slowed down. Well, it's actually declined a lot. So it's still higher than it was like 5 years ago, but it's come off the huge high it was in 2022. So that kind of price reduction has also meant that lots of projects globally have actually stalled or stopped putting on excess production because of the low price. So there is an uncertainty around that, and we urge Ghana Parliament to actually ratify this. Let's get into production, let's get these benefits.
Ghana leads West Africa in the implementation of a multinational enterprises MNE declaration according to the International Labour Organization. The declaration is a means of balancing issues around trade with labour rights with the aim to promote decent work within the multinational enterprises working in Ghana and elsewhere.
It's no longer just about profits, but to making sure that enterprises, they contribute to the communities where they do business, and they really support the various initiatives in those communities, but also most importantly to support workers who are contributing meaningfully to the development and the growth of those enterprises. One core element of the MNE declaration, in addition to workers' rights, issues around social protection, there's a component of lifelong learning. This is a contribution to make sure that the enterprises are also contributing to skills development and advancement of.
That'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
Do you know someone who's making a difference in your community? Someone whose selfless actions and dedication to helping others deserves recognition? Then it's time to celebrate these incredible individuals on MTN Heroes of Change.
It's time to nominate those selfless individuals to win 100,000 Ghana cedis and other cash prizes and be crowned MTN Hero of Change. You can also nominate a blogger or someone in the digital space and any of the media houses to win our new category of Digital Hero and Media Hero of Change. Just fill an online nomination form at mtn.com.gh or send a WhatsApp with a 1-minute video of your nominee's project on 055-141-1122. Deadline for nominations is 18th October 2024, so don't waste time. Nominate your hero now.
MTN Heroes of Change. Be the change you wish to see.
I see, Messi and me the 200 Ghana could just sister. Buy you in 5 cities.
and 40 Ghana. Hey, take one container your 40 to 50 pesos, and not 20 Ghana. And a dancing, or long can do 30 Ghana. Adai, on my bay money away.
Oh, so Cassa, me show Dean. Sha, Docura me the 20 Ghana. Ah, me pay Cramini 15 Ghana cedi a day. On my bay, woman, your coya and not your sambai.
Share, and yet Diane Bonkuan Kosuru. John Dramani Mahama time. Smith 1 bag. Near 24 Ghana cedis. Main Conto Smith 1 bagger. You say a 108 cedis. I don't know what you're better saying. It is to say, so who see Diane? Say, and I'll be say. John Dramani Mahama Mama Gia. You be wo.
Yanya be bien for who come back here.
Or come the end queen. You better fire one drink. Then people are buying. But dear him more and Cassa.
Media minimum how. Na media. Measure my system, number 12.
And yes, I need dear. A year kufu had any bow near. Yamia Domine said December 7. Trua. You be true, Master said you to buy.
She was sitting no to papa. A day sacraya papa beba wa brabum. To Obama John Mahama ni NDC.
Rise and shine. It's another day to stay on point. Toast is Friday, it's still on point. Watch is Friday all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Watch is red, it's still on point. For your bread, it's creamy. For your toast, it's still on point. It's yummy, delicious. It's still on point. Still on point. Yes, it's still on point. It's still on point. Still on point.
And always on this advert is FDA approved.
It's time for sports here on News 360. My name is Kelvin Oswansa. Let's start from the Referees Association of Ghana, where Chairman George Seja has addressed growing concerns about referee integrity amid revelations of modest compensation, while emphasizing the association's commitment to ethical officiating through training programs and strict codes of conduct. Seja acknowledges that the referees' remuneration could potentially compromise their impartiality. This disclosure came during an investigation into a petition from the Save Ghana Football Forum, which questioned the integrity of football officiating in the country.
The premier, both male, that's with premier referees at that level, is 1,000 Ghana cedis take home per match. Then with the Division 1 referees and women referees, they receive 750 take home pay for match.
However, stakeholders expressed concerns that the overall compensation package may be insufficient to shield referees from external influences that could affect their decision-making during matches. The Ghana Football Association maintains that the relatively low basic remuneration is supplemented by additional incentives.
We have an arrangement with STC where the bus fares, they pay 50%. So we have policies that ensure that performance is not hindered in any way. The thing is that a referee who is not good because he's being paid 1,100. So please, let's not link payment. Otherwise, no referee from CAF, FIFA, then no referee will be good.
Seja's candid discussion about the compensation structure represents an effort to address these concerns transparently and foster dialogue about the financial challenges facing football officials in Ghana. Now, in a season of Premier League surprises, few stories shine as brightly as Antoine Semenyo's emergence at AFC Bournemouth. With every touch, dribble and goal, the Ghanaian forward is transforming from a promising talent into a pivotal figure for the Cherries.
Semenyo has contributed to half of Bournemouth's goals this season with 3 goals and 1 assist. The 24-year-old is averaging 0.6 goals per 90 minutes this campaign as compared to 0.4 last season, where he finished with 8 goals in 33 league matches. He is on pace to beating his tally of 8 last season for the Cherries. He has been just as effective on a defensive end too, with 12 blocks, ranking 7th in the entire division.
In terms of visibility, but in terms of what he gives this Bournemouth side, it's not just the goal scoring and the assists, it's the outlet. And sometimes when Bournemouth don't have the ball and they're sitting deep and playing a low block, to have that outlet in Semenyo who can bring them up the pitch and create dangerous situations in the opposition's box, he's an invaluable player for Bournemouth. Select in the June international window. With a double header against Sudan coming up in a few days, Otuado will no doubt be delighted with Semenyo's progress and remain hopeful.
Now let's get into the UEFA Champions League, where Brest managed to defeat their opponents 4-0. RB Salzburg and Stuttgart settled for a 1-0 draw against Sparta Prague. But it's half-time in all the other 6 games. Arsenal leading PSG by 2-0. Barcelona leading Young Boys 3-0. Bayer Leverkusen goalless against AC Milan, and then Borussia Dortmund leading Celtic 5-1. Inter leading Red Star Belgrade by 1-0, and PSV and leading Sporting Club de Portugal by 1-0. Manchester City are gone into the tunnel with a 2-0 lead over Slovan Bratislava. That's all for Sports here on News 360. My name is Kelvin Oswans. Entertainment news comes up next.
Well, it's now time for entertainment news with Volta Regions Makafui.
Yes.
Makafui afwan.
Mercury wafon hafwan.
Yeah. Okay. What's up for tonight?
Tonight's spotlight is on the Eastern Region's PEPFAR.
All right, take it over.
Let's go. Good evening. Welcome to the entertainment news on News 360. I am Makafui, proudly representing the Volta region in this year's Ghana's Most Beautiful. The Eastern region last won a GMB crown in 2019. The region's rep for 2024, PEPFAR, is convinced it's a year of return, vowing to win back the prestigious crown on Sunday. She's been speaking to 3 Entertainment.
Born Mercy Pepra Asare, Pepra is a proud finalist representing the Eastern region in this year's Ghana's Most Beautiful. The 26-year-old has seized every opportunity to market her region, updating viewers on attraction sites and the beautiful culture of the people of the region.
Festivals are loud like the Ohum, waterfalls are tall like Boti, and Akoko, world class.
Throughout this journey, it hasn't been easy. I'm doing my best to represent my region at its peak. It's been tough, but God being so good, we are here at the finals.
The 2-time star performer described her GMB experience as fulfilling and owes her success to God.
I really think about the God factor, that voice that came to me to just give it a try. And you are thinking twice about coming to Ghana's Most Beautiful just because you feel like you cannot meet up to the energy and standard. This is the platform. Come and bring your difference.
Pepra has promised to cause a major stir to win the cash, the car and the crown. She hopes to use the exposure to promote and help young ones identify their creative potentials.
I would love to be that person that young ladies would look up to and say that, yes, I would want to be like Pepra, making the world a more compassionate place. I believe every child deserves the chance to dream, tap into their creativity, and see what they can leave behind when they are gone. There is a gift to mankind, and that is our talent. This is something that is dear to my heart, and I would advocate using this prestigious crown.
The Eastern region last won a GMB crown in 2019. Pepra is counting on the support of all, but most importantly, the people of the Eastern region for victory.
Epoe mantem funina mechiamo ago hanye It's been 5 years since we got hold of this crown. Please do not let me down. The voting is very, very important. Thank you all for the support so far. I'm really grateful. Team Pepra. This journey, without you, I do not know where I would have been. It is finale, and I want you all to keep supporting me, but on an advanced level, because this is not going to be easy, but I believe in you so much. I know you're doing your best, and you can even do more. Thank you all so much, and I look forward to giving my best self, and you all can be proud of me.
He who has knowledge possesses everything. These stones.
Thanks for your time. My name is Makafi. Have a good evening.
So how are you gearing up for Sunday?
With God being my provider, my strength, and my grace provider, I'm ready for
You're
finale.
confident of a victory on Sunday?
Yes, 100%.
You're preparing hard, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be there in our numbers.
And who are you calling on to vote for you?
I'm calling on all Volta Region youth, all chiefs of Volta Region, MPs and MCs of Volta Region, the Volta Regional Caucus in Parliament, Honorable Jifar Ablagomashi, Mr. Tanko of Tanko Foundations, Team Makafui, family, believers in Makafui. The competition, final competition is on Sunday. And to retain the crown in Volta Region, I will need your support and my performance as well, and with God's strength. So please, please take your phone and dial *713*13# on all networks, or download the MG Reality app on Google Play Store or Apple App Store and vote massively for Makafui. Thank you.
Coming up, international news.
Iranian State TV has carried a statement from the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps confirming dozens of missiles have been launched towards Israel and threatening another attack if Israel responds. The powerful Revolutionary Guards describes the missile strike as a retaliation for the assassination in July of the Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, as well as the Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah on Friday, and for killing of Lebanese and Palestinian people. It said its air force has targeted important bases and will announce the details later. Members of Parliament in Kenya have started the process of removing the country's deputy president from office. Those who back the effort accuse Rigathi of having a role in June's anti-government demonstration, which turned deadly, as well as an involvement in corruption, undermining government and promoting ethnically divisive politics. The deputy president has dismissed the allegations. This is a culmination of a major fallout between Rigathi and President William Ruto. On Tuesday, the Speaker of the National Assembly allowed the impeachment proceedings to begin after a motion to start things off was backed by 291 MPs, way over the threshold of the 117 MPs required.
And that's it for the bulletin. Thank you so much for spending the last hour with us. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
And I am Portia Gabodu. Join Alfredo Kanse at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.